Hey Reddit, those of you with partners who talk in their sleep, what is the creepiest or weirdest or most random thing they've ever said? Story 1. I woke up restless and hot, turned on the AC. Husband appeared to wake up too. He sat up and said, "I'm your fan," and waved his hands like a fan, and then laughed at his own joke and went back to sleep. Did not remember it in the morning. We now have a Discord. Check out the server in the link in the description. Story 2. I crawled into bed when she was asleep. She reached over and grabbed my arm. She snuggled my arm a bit and I thought it was sweet. Until, with a thick Russian accent, she says, "I break you," and acted like she was snapping my arm. Story 3. My girlfriend will sometimes bolt upright and stare into the corner. When I ask her what's up, she'll say, "There's someone in the corner." I kind of laugh and be like, "What are you on about?" And then she'll start laughing too. Then she'll wake up and be like, "Why did you wake me up? What do you want? It's late." I guess it sounds pretty creepy, but honestly I find it hilarious. Story 4. My roommate sleep talks almost every night, and once I walked in on him sobbing, like full on bawling. I asked if he was good, and he said in the calmest voice ever, "Yeah, sure, I just wanted to see it to the end." He didn't remember it one bit. The runner-up was when he burst into laughter and then said, "Why did none of you try to chop my head off just then?" Story 5. My ex-wife once said, "We'll see how frickin' funny you think it is when you're dead," in the middle of the night. Not mumbled, fully articulated in a calm voice. Scared the crap out of me. Current wife once indignantly shouted, "I can't poop here, everyone is watching," and I do mean shouted. I cannot imagine how I would have reacted had I been asleep. As it was, I was playing with my iPad in bed while she slept and I about jumped out of my skin. OP seems to have a type here. Story 6. One of my friend's little brothers came into the room where we were sleeping and he was sleepwalking. He kicked open the door and said, "Did you tell Mom about the soup thing?" To which my friend replied, "What soup thing?" "You know, the thing with the ah and the ah." Then he just stood there a minute before leaving. Okay, so the story said in brackets, strangled screaming noise and then bird noise. Yes, I know they sounded pretty much the same coming out of me. I didn't know what to do. Story 7. My ex used to talk in his sleep and kind of sleepwalk too. It was pretty funny. My favorite was when I woke up to him holding my coat to the door, dropping it and putting it back to the door. Not like hanging it on the door, just like holding it there and dropping it repeatedly. I asked him, what are you doing?" He gave me a funny look and crept into the bathroom slowly, peeked around, looked at me in bed and asked, "Are you in there?" "In where?" "The bathroom." "No, I'm in bed." "Oh, okay." And then he came back to bed. My second favorite was when he shook me awake and told me, "I'm definitely not gonna do it." "Do what?" "Yeah, I'm just feeling way too lazy and unmotivated right now." "Yeah, no crap, dude. You're asleep." Story 8. My girlfriend at the time had stayed over for the night the first time. Still fairly early in the relationship, so we hadn't done anything intimate at this point. That'll be relevant here in a second. She's the one who caught me sleep talking. "Put it in there." "Put what in where?" "Put the sandwich in the bag." I'd been working as a trainer at a fast food place and was dreaming about someone not understanding what I thought were basic instructions. Story 9. I have two great ones. One, I had stayed up late and husband was asleep in bed. We had creaky wood floors, so I was walking slowly into the bedroom trying not to make much noise. I stepped on a creaky spot and husband shifted in bed and then said in a very cheeky/smiling tone, "I have a machine that will shoot you. If you move around, it'll shoot you right now." Then he was back to being dead asleep. And two, I was reading in bed. Husband turned to snuggle into me and then this conversation. Him in a cutesy, flirty tone. "Coupons." "Coupons?" "Yeah, coupons." Story 10. He said my name drawn out long and with mild contempt. Then he yells, "The ladder!" "I'll get the ladder for you, babe. No worries." Edit. Just last night, he's moving around slightly more than normal, so I wake up and ask if he's okay. He says, "You need me to do 2 things?" I giggle as he gargles that in his sleep. "What 2 things?" I'm still giggling. "You asked me to do 2 things, you tell me." Fix our vacuum? He broke the vacuum a little while ago." "Oh, I don't want to do that. Pick something else." "Go to sleep, love. That's the second thing." "Okay, love you." And out like a light. He is really sweet, I tell ya. Story 11. I'm the sleep talker/walker. One night, my husband woke me up because my sister was calling him in the middle of the night. I was very worried and asked her what was wrong. She was practically in tears and managed to squeak out, "Oh, thank God you're okay. I was so scared." I guess in my sleep I had called her mumbled, then set my phone down next to my speaker, which was playing the audiobook that I'd fallen asleep to. What she ended up hearing was me whispering and then a strange man talking. She thought I had been kidnapped. She texted and called me, and when I didn't answer, she called my husband to see if I was okay. He was confused and tried to assure her that I was sleeping peacefully in bed. I've also ordered bras and 3 gallons of almond milk off of Amazon. I'm not allowed to have my phone near my bed anymore. Story 12. My partner used to regularly talk in her sleep. Creepiest. So it's late at night, after midnight, but I'm not entirely sure how late. I've not fallen asleep yet, but I turn over to try and get comfy and see her looking straight at me. And she says, "Did you see it move?" I promptly panicked and had to turn the light on, to which I get a mumbled groan of displeasure from my darling girlfriend who has slept through this entire thing. Funniest? It's hard to decide between, why does he get XP for it? It's only a frickin' rock, and why is there a dead pterodactyl in the living room? I never did find out the answers to either of those questions. I agree, shouldn't get XP for killing just a rock. That's pretty stupid. I'm with your partner here. Story 13. I pulled a pellet gun on my dad while sleepwalking to pay him back a nickel that I apparently owed him. Absolutely insisted that he take the money too. Looking back on it, I can somewhat figure out how it all transpired. I was big into Doom at the time and played it for hours on end. I also got my new handgun style pellet gun, which I kept in my room. I have no idea why I owed my dad a nickel though. Fortunately, he took the whole thing in stride, basically disarmed me, took the nickel, turned me around, and sent me back to bed. Story 14. My ex used to sometimes talk in her sleep, and one night I was up really late and was high just watching TV, and I heard her say very clearly to me, "Let's get McDonald's." I thought to myself that was a great idea, so I got up and started getting dressed. After I was done, I went back to wake her, and she was out. I shook her a couple of times and said, "Let's go, I'm ready." She finally woke up and said, "What? No, it's late, go to bed." I was so disappointed because I totally thought she wanted to go and I was too high to drive. So I had to get undressed again and go back to bed. Looking back, I totally should have known that that was just her talking in her sleep, but I was so high and I didn't want to accept that as a reality, and so I chose to believe that I was going to get some McDonald's. Story 15. Him. It's been 4 years and people still care. Me. Care about what? Him. The crash. Me. What crash? Train? Car? Him. Computer. He said the last part rather angrily. If I questioned him again, he'd just say, "I'm trying to sleep." Oh, and one time I woke up in stomach pain. I've had some stomach issues and I know when it's urgent. I woke him up to warn him that I might need to go to the ER. Me. Baby, my stomach hurts really badly. Him. Oh no, hold on to me. Then just do the... Then he rolled to his side and said, "In this life, sometimes we just do what the..." Me. Baby, come on, my stomach really hurts. I might need to go to the ER. Him. Oh no, hold on to me. It's okay. We just gotta tell them to turn it down and we can leave. Me, shaking his shoulder this time. Baby, my stomach really hurts. Him. Oh no, hold on to me. This time he was awake and didn't remember the first 2 times. As a light sleeper, I don't know how these sleepwalkers or sleep talkers do it. I feel like if I were to do something like that, I would just wake myself up. Someone shaking me on my shoulder? Yeah, I would be right out of bed. Story 16. I'm sitting in bed scrolling through Reddit and my wife is asleep next to me. This exchange ensues. Wife pushes me to get my attention. Me, what? Wife, I want a Crunchwrap Supreme. Me, I am not going to Taco Bell right now, it's after midnight. Wife, but we're already here. Me, what? Wife, we're already at Taco Bell. See, there's the chihuahua that says, "Yo quiero Taco Bell." Me, we're in bed. Wife, starting to get irritated. Yes, because we took the bed. Me, we took the bed. Wife, yes. Me, and how did we do that? Wife, are you telling me you don't know how to drive a bed? OP should really invest in one of those race car beds. That'll definitely get him places. Maybe even Taco Bell. Story 17. I'm the sleepwalker here, but according to my girlfriend, there are 2 of particular note. In the first, I threw myself on top of her, convinced I needed to shield her from whatever I was freaking out over. You need to be very quiet. In the second one, I put her back to bed. She was trying to get up before me. I got up, walked around the bed, and laid her back down, folded her arms on her chest, tucked her in, and then walked all the way around the bed and climbed in again. I have a particular memory of this one because she kept moving her arms and this was very annoying for reasons only dream logic can explain. Story 18. One time when I was around 9, I came downstairs from my room sleepwalking, walk past my parents, and go into the pantry. My dad walks up to me to see me going through the pantry. What are you doing? Looking. What are you looking for? The box? Why don't you go back to bed? Okay. I then apparently walked past my brother, who, thinking I was messing with my parents, goes to give me a high five. I then limbo under his hand and go back to bed. I have no recollection of this at all. On another occasion, I walked into this same brother's room and proclaim how I need to pee, and then walk to the bathroom, and then back to bed. There's being left hanging, and then there's whatever getting limboed is. That would crush my soul, honestly. I would just go back to bed for the day and just try again tomorrow. Story 19. I've told this story here before, but about 10 years ago, I had just started dating this girl I had a massive crush on. We were fresh out of high school and her parents went out of town for a weekend. I was finally going to sleep in her bed with her, and I was amped. I have a bit of trouble sleeping in a new place, so I was awake after she'd already knocked out. I tried to keep my eyes closed and just to let sleep come. Just as I started to drift off, I heard a sound like scratching on wood. Quick and getting faster. I opened my eyes and oriented myself again. It wasn't scratching, it was whispering, and it was getting louder. My girlfriend was rapidly whispering, "She is the devil in disguise, she is the devil in disguise." I turned my head to look at her, and her eyes were wide open, looking directly at me, but glossed over like she was looking straight through me. The whispering continued until she stopped mid-sentence. "She's the devil in disguise, she's the devil in disguise, she's the he can't help you." She closed her eyes and went rolled over, leaving me with a very what the hell feeling. I asked her about it in the morning, and she said she used to talk in her sleep a lot as a kid. I still have no idea if she was messing with me or if she just had odd sleep habits. Story 20. Girlfriend has a little brother named Nathan who she fairly frequently gets into disagreements with. One night she's at my house. About 3 a.m. rolls around and I'm woken up by her sitting straight up, staring at the foot of the bed and yelling, "Nathan!" as if he had just done something to upset her. She then falls, not very gracefully, flat onto her back, straight to sleep. Meanwhile, I just kind of stare at her flabbergasted for a good 20 minutes trying to figure out what just happened. Little did I know, this was only the first of many similar nights. Story 22. One time my fiancé sat bolt upright and asked me about the child who built a wall. And when I asked for clarification, he angrily insisted, "The one we watch in this house." When I pointed out that there are no kids in the house, he went, "Not right now." I made a confused noise and he groaned and laid back down. So I guess I have to keep an eye out for a child who builds walls in our house. Another time he was snoring, and as I gently tried to get him to stop, he said in the most condescending and awake voice, "I wasn't snoring, I don't know what you're hearing," and then went totally quiet. No memory of the event in the morning. I love him and he causes me so much pain. Story 22. My fiancé has had some weird sleepwalking instances. The creepiest was when I woke up to him walking around in a circle from our bedroom, through the hallway, and the living room, and back into the bedroom over and over again. The bedroom has 2 doors. I asked him what the hell he was doing, and all he said was, "I'm following the lines." I think I said something like, "Hell no, you creepy mother effer, get your butt back in bed." The other one is funnier. He jumped out of bed, ran to the bathroom, and started rifling through the closet. I asked him what the hell he was doing, and he bursted out with, "Check, bathroom squirrel." Apparently, he had a dream about a large, bearded squirrel in our bathroom, and he thought he should follow it. Narnia dreaming bastard. I love him. Story 23. One morning when I was in my early 20s, my roommate greeted me at breakfast with a wary eye. It seems that in the middle of the night, I began singing. It was singing at first, then it gradually got louder and louder until I was screaming like I was terrified and then settled back down into singing. It alternated for a while until she worked up the nerve to peek into my room, and by that time I had quieted down. Can't remember anything about it, of course, and the weird thing is, I'm not really a singer, although she said my voice sounded lovely. I don't know who was more freaked out about the whole ordeal, her or me. Story 24. Me. What are you dreaming about? Husband. Batteries. Me. Double A or triple A? Husband. Quadruple A. Me. I don't think they make those. Husband, you have to look harder. Well, I learned after that night that quadruple A batteries do exist. Husband knows what he's talking about, even in his sleep. Story 25. I was in the midst of working on my senior seminar history paper, German Prisoners of War, and I was working on this for literally hours a day. My boyfriend went to bed later than I did, and he jostled me awake by accident while shifting or something. And I mumbled out, 95% asleep, I feel bad for them. To which my boyfriend asked me, naturally, who do you feel bad for? Prisoners of war. And then I fell back asleep. Another time I was dreaming about The Good Place, and my boyfriend pulled me closer to him to cuddle. Again, I was 95% asleep, and I said, why are you doing this? In my dream, him pulling me was him trying to get me out of the bad place, and apparently I wasn't having it. Story 26. This was back in high school. My girlfriend at the time was a fussy sleeper. On one occasion, we were lying in my bed cuddling and she fell asleep. She started making little noises with her mouth, consonant sounds. At first, P's and K's, the way you might do just breathing, and it slowly turned into a low whisper. I had to strain to hear her over the air conditioner. Curious, I leaned in to hear her better. And the first thing I made out was, and you're all going to die. She said she didn't recall dreaming anything. On another occasion, I was playing some music on my boombox and she conked out. She started to shiver and twitch. I asked her if she was okay, and she opened up her eyes and started crying, help me, help me. She did remember that dream. She was repeatedly being struck by lightning, and the singer of the music I was playing was standing around her singing to her while she was getting struck, and not doing whatever it was you would do to help a person getting struck by lightning. I wonder what that chick is up to now. She was an adventure. Story 27. Not something someone said, but I used to sleepwalk as a kid. One night when I was like 6, I ended up walking to the bathroom asleep. I guess I brushed my teeth and attempted to go to the bathroom, but given I was a tiny kid and the toilet seat was up, I just sat into the toilet. Imagine being a kid waking up chilling in a toilet in the pitch black with toothpaste in your mouth and not a single clue as to where you are. 0 out of 10 would not recommend. There's so many things about that would confuse the hell out of me. If I woke up anywhere not my bed, first of all, I would be very confused because I don't sleepwalk. But like in a toilet with, okay, I think the toothpaste in the mouth actually is the big kicker for me. Everything else I could be like, oh, I sleepwalked. But then I'd have to be like, did I sleep brush my teeth? But hey, I guess the kid knew his bedtime routine pretty well. Story 28. My husband talks in his sleep, but not like a sentence here or there. He does monologues. He has conversations, lengthy ones, sometimes in weird accents, often as different personas, occasionally in fake foreign languages. I often record them once he gets going. The weirdest ever was as follows. My brother and I were fooling around with our TV in the family room and turned on a music channel that had a spa-type chill zen music, but then got distracted and left the room. Husband found the music calming and peaceful, so he laid down on the sofa and promptly fell asleep. Brother and I return to the room, husband starts talking over the zen music, and I start recording. The following is an exact transcript of the recording. As the crows fly and the eagles swoop, in the clouds they saw him coming, a blood red descending upon the people, and the high priests took the virgin into the temple, and said, we must protect you, for he is angered. And the farmers walked out into their fields with their tools, and they said, Lord Quetzaldialphisus, why have you felt smitten by us? They would not get a reply that day. Into the temple they ran faster as the rains began to fall, puddles formed beneath their feet. They remembered the tales of their ancestors, they remembered the blessings that had been bestowed, and they wondered whether the blessings would stay for me and my progeny. But Quetzaldialphisus would have none of it, for he decided to wipe them off the face of the earth once and for all. The next day the sun rose upon the barren landscape, and a single virgin emerged from the temple. All her people were decimated. All the lambs and oxen lay barren and wasted, ashed, smoldered in fire. And yet the birds sang, the crow swooped, and the eagle looked on. She stayed there in that temple until she died of dehydration and hunger. Emaciated, she curled up, and in her dying breath, she heard the sweet whisper of Dialphysus tell her again that he will return. Now, of course, my first reaction is, oh yeah, this one can't be real. This is just some weird poetry this person made and is like, oh yeah, my sleeping partner said this. But at the same time, it's almost like too weird. Like I don't know. It would be weird for someone to lie about this, but not make it weirder, you know? Like it's just coherent enough that it seems like someone who is awake wrote it. But it's like not coherent enough to think that it's, I don't know. I don't know how to describe it, but I feel like you get what I mean. For the sake of just wonder, I'm going to say that it's real. And honestly, no one can change my mind. This happened.